But thank you, just thank you for being a part of our life. Thank you.
I will say that Charlotte Burks is a beautiful lady from the inside out. Thank you for your friendship and your service.
Is there any person on this floor that you dread worse than Charlotte Burks speaking against your bill? Because there is no other agenda other than her evaluation of what is right and wrong, good and bad for the people of Tennessee.
You had the same vision and the same honesty and the same high principles. And it's been a pleasure serving with you, and we wish you well in your life ahead, and Godspeed in your journey with your family.
Driving back and forth it's getting a little tiring. You know, the older you get, I guess the harder it is to stay up late and get up early, and I've done a lot of that, and so I thought it's just time to come home.
For Charlotte Gentry Burks, this past April was perhaps a reckoning of sorts. It was the last day in session of the 108th General Assembly, and for the first time in some 44 years that either she or her late husband Tommy would be going home to Monterey for good.
That's the only original house that was on the farm.
Her life's journey and her passion for farming and the state's rural people has been quite remarkable. Mrs. Burks was born in Jackson County on October the 3rd, 1942. She was the youngest of 7 children to Herbie and Veda Gentry. Her father was a tenant farmer until she was 10 years old. That's when the family all moved to Michigan to work in the auto industry. She adjusted and excelled really well in school and graduated from Eastern High School in Detroit at the age of 16 in 1959. Throughout those years, she would return to Cookeville during the summers to visit family, where they still maintained a house. It was located right next to the Burks family and her childhood friend, Tommy.
We just kind of got a little courtship going. We wrote letters back and forth, and he came to visit me, and of course I would come down in the summers, and it just kind of all evolved till we just thought we just needed to be together all the time, I guess.
And it was December 17th, 1960, when Tommy and Charlotte tied the knot. Tommy was finishing up his ag business degree at Tennessee Tech, and she was working for Associates Capital in Cookeville. Over the next 8 years, they were blessed with 3 daughters, and today the family, which is all still close to home, includes 10 grandchildren and 4 great-grandchildren. And it was in 1965 when they moved to the farm in Monterey, just off of Interstate 40. Over the years, the farming operation continued to grow to include tobacco, cattle, mums, pumpkins, and Tommy's favorite, hogs. He also became active in Farm Bureau, serving as president in Putnam County. And not long after losing a race for county commissioner, Tommy decided to run for the State House of Representatives. He won that seat in 1970 and quickly became a strong voice for farmers statewide. After 8 years in the House, he was elected to the Senate, where he would spend the next 20 years until his tragic death in 1998.
Senator Burke.
It was just such a short time before the election. They said that it needed to be one of us. It needed to be a family member to put their name there. And of course, this was before we'd even had the funeral service. And of course, it was the farthest thing that you needed to even think about. You know, here we were, we didn't know who, what, when, where, and the why still haunt you, you know, but that was just a terrible dilemma to be in, I guess. But we finally, you know, decided that that was the best thing to do, is to let them try to put my name on the ballot.
In a landslide victory, Charlotte Burks became the first ever successful write-in candidate in the state Senate. In her 16 years of service, she worked to carry on the legacy that her husband had left. Like Tommy, she's been a tireless advocate for children and families and has been honored numerous times for her work on domestic and sexual violence and public education. Her quiet but strong and common-sense approach to legislation earned the respect and admiration of her colleagues. And her Christian principles and faith and never-ending love for Tommy has guided her path.
Any planes?
Sometimes I'm afraid in our society that we think because Kroger's has got it on the shelf that that's where it comes from, and that's in the society we're in, but that's not the case. It had to be produced by a farmer on a farm, doing the best that he could, following university recommendations. And I know that I can talk till I'm blue in the face in here. There's not a one of you in here that's got any inkling about what it's like to farm as I farm and what farmers are facing.
I felt close to him kind of there. And you, I don't know, people think you're kind of crazy when you say this, but sometimes you feel like you have somebody with you, guiding you, you know. And through all that, you have to have faith in something. You have to have faith. And I think that faith guides you. I don't understand how people go through things that don't believe and have faith in. But I have felt like that. It was just kind of meant to be.
And after 44 years of public service together, she now is content to enjoy life back on the farm. And just like with Tommy, Charlotte Burks has been a devoted Christian leader in her church, the community, and the state. And Farm Bureau extends their thanks for her unfailing service and commitment to Tennessee agriculture.
I feel like I'm carrying on his beliefs in a lot of ways, which mostly were mine too, you know, but still I always think what he would think, you know, what would he do, and gauge my decisions a lot on that, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm really honored, and of course you always think about, you know, the profession and what it means in life, and of course to be honored as especially the ones that's already went before me is a great honor, and I guess I'd rather be honored for that than most anything, because that's where our hearts and souls are pretty much in farm life.
It's been a wonderful thing. You saved my life when I came down here. I think you saved my sanity, and I got to thinking, well, maybe I can make a difference, and I got kind of ingrained, and I just stayed and I stayed and I stayed, but it's time to go home. Thanks.